Okay, let me see. Great, I pushed record. So Brian, do you want to screen share because you're our topic chooser today?
Sure.
Cool.
Sure. So, welcome to GitLab Backend pairing. Today, I brought an issue where I need to write a background migration. I don't have it pulled up. Okay, so give me 1 second. I'm gonna close all my other tabs. Okay. So this is the issue that I'm trying to work on. We have a table called SBOM occurrences, which is used to show dependencies in the dependency list, which is this page over here. Actually, I don't want to show that because it shows vulnerabilities and stuff. So I won't show that, but it's used to render the dependency list. And we are denormalizing a couple columns because right now the query, we have a pretty expensive subquery to show the group level dependency list. We have a subquery that gets all of the projects inside the namespace. And then Postgres has to do a nested loop for each one of those project IDs. And some customers have a lot of projects and are top of them on the namespace. I saw one last week that had over 10,000. So we would have to scan the table 10,000 times to show the group level dependency list. So we're trying to get rid of that subquery completely so that we don't have the nested loop and we can just scan the table once. And we're doing that by storing the traversal IDs in our table. And the traversal IDs is like an array that has all of the namespaces, all of the namespace IDs. So let me show you an example.
That's the namespace IDs for the root level namespace or for the project, or it's for the
Sorry, what did you say?
which namespaces are in that traversal IDs? Are you going to show us? But I was just wondering if it's the ancestors of the project or
Yeah,
what is it?
so I want to show you, but I need to find a project that has subgroups. So I need to wait for my GDK to load up. Oh dear.
Seems like it should just like do that on its own. I mean, it doesn't, but it should.
Yeah, I have a little alias here that says like bundle install and db migrate and yarn install.
Great. That should, I feel like that should be like part of GDK. GDK ready. Something like that.
Think GDK update is that, but it does quite a lot more.
Yeah, GDK update like pulls down main from like 6 different repos. I actually very rarely do GDK update. I might go 3 months without running it and everything still works fine. Okay. The yarn install. Sometimes yarn install is like node modules has changed significantly, like package.lock has changed significantly, removing node modules. and it removes the entire no modules directory and reinstalls everything.
Oh, I did not know that does that. Yikes.
Okay, here we go. So this one has subgroups, so I can show you this. So if you take this project and if I looked up this project in a Rails console,
Isn't it its ID somewhere in like a little submenu?
yeah, I already copied it. I was a
Oh, you got
ninja.
it. Oh, you got it.
Yeah. So this project has so on a namespace there's this column traversal IDs, and it has namespace.id, and then it has the parent's ID also. I want parent.id. Yeah, so you have 111 and then 108. And so 108 is the root namespace, right?
100. Well, I think it's just the parent, the direct parent.
That's the root.
That's the
So,
root.
the leftmost one is the parent, and then from the right, it's like each subsequent parent. And so the leftmost one is the root. And so from right to left, it's like parent, 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 and then the root is on the left. And so what you can do is
There's an
what
A
is
at the last E should be an A in that spelling. DANDS. Yeah, I was actually just looking at the other E. There we go.
this one?
Oh, the E, yeah. So you're on top of T, and then N is good, but then E to the left of N should be an A. Descend ants. ANTS. Yeah, that one. So
I feel like I'm having an aneurysm.
it's a hard one. Self and descendants. There you go.
Okay,
Great.
so
Mhm.
if I want to find all of the projects that are underneath the root namespace, there is a really clever hack I can do where I can search for all the traversal IDs that are like greater than 108, and hold on.
Greater than 108, because 108 is the project itself. Oh no, it's a group still. It's the root group.
So I can search for where T is greater than or equal to 108 and T is less than 109.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You have to probably, what is it called when you merge? There's a Ruby method to take a bunch of arrays and make them one array. Is it merge or smoosh or something?
Flatten. I think.
Flatten. So you have to
Yeah, I
flatten
don't
before you do find. All traversal
like.
IDs.
I know Ruby is supposed to let you compare arrays like this. That's interesting. I could have sworn that you could do that.
Uh,
But I know Postgres lets you do this though.
um, okay. Well, I would say, isn't one problem with this hack that you can transfer projects? And so in theory, you could transfer a project into that group and its ID might not be in this order. Like it could have been a project could have been created before and have a smaller ID, but then you transfer it into the root group.
Oh my God, what just happened?
Wow, beautiful.
Okay, and you can do this in Postgres,
Hmm.
and this will
Cool.
this will actually work. So you can compare arrays like this, and you can use this to find all of the namespaces that are under a namespace.
But what if the IDs aren't in order, right? Like it's possible because primary keys never change, but you can change which
Yeah,
namespace a
yeah,
project is in.
exactly. Yeah, exactly. And if you wanted to find like the namespaces under this one, under this subgroup, then you would compare these two arrays. So you would do like 108, 109. And so if you search for like where traversal IDs is greater than or equal to 108 and less than 109, this one will be included. And like so will basically every single item in this array. So it's like a very very clever hack that lets us scan hierarchical data without doing recursion.
But can you go back to the
Wait,
SQL you just had? Can you show us the SQL again?
hold on one second. Could you say that again?
Oh, can you show us the SQL console we were just looking at? I don't know if it was, I think it was in terminal. Yeah, so it's true that 108 is bigger than 108 and 109.
Okay, so my captions do this really annoying thing where like every time I change desktop they disappear and I have to turn them off and back on.
Okay.
So
So,
sorry, what were you saying?
so is it, so this says 108 is bigger than 108 comma 109. The answer is, it says true. I'm not sure that I understand this.
Okay, let me demonstrate with an actual SQL query. If I want to find all of the namespaces that are under the namespace 108, so every namespace that is in the hierarchy under this,
Hmm.
then what I can do is select ID name from namespaces where traversal IDs is greater than or equal to 108. Namespace.id is actually an integer, I believe, not a big int. So,
Okay.
and traversal IDs is less than 109. I don't remember if I need the bracket. Oh dear.
Traversal IDs does not
Yeah, so
exist.
it is an integer. And traversal IDs. Oh, I spelled it wrong again.
What? I don't even see that. Oh, there's a missing S.
Yeah. What did I do?
Malformed array. I don't know what's wrong with this syntax.
There we go.
Oh,
So this gives me all namespaces in the hierarchy. Let me select the traversal IDs so that you can see.
thank you. Mm.
So it compares the first item in the array first.
Huh?
So this essentially returns all of the namespaces where the first item in the array is 108.
Got it. Okay. Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah. And so if I want to get the ones that are under this subgroup, then I change this to 108, 110, and this one is 108, 109.
Cool.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, I feel like my brain is a little upside down here, but when I see the traversal IDs, I'm like, well, it's doing the right thing. So I guess that's good. Okay, well, anyways, you said this is just anyways a hack, right? Like this is a way that you can get the data that you want, but you're going to denormalize this and put it into a new
Yeah,
database model.
yeah, it's a very clever optimization, and it only works because Postgres knows how to compare arrays like this.
Okay.
So anyway,
Anyways,
all we
thank
have to
you.
do, is backfill this to all of the rows in our table. And then we can scan our table in this exact same way and not have to do a nested loop on project IDs.
So which table do you want to save this data on?
Yeah, we have the table already. It's this table, and I already did a lot of the work for this. So the columns are there. I created workers that will automatically sync the data when a project moves. So if a project is transferred from one namespace to another, it refreshes the traversal IDs because
Okay,
the traversal IDs will change when a project moves or when a namespace moves.
that's
Uh,
good.
right. And then I've already updated the code so that it sets these values when new records are created. So now all we have to do is backfill the old records. So all the existing records that have null for this column will have it filled with the data from the namespace.
Got it. Can I ask like a potentially dumb question? Um, it seems like this concept of traversal IDs is very generic, right? Like it's used. I was just looking at this self-into sentence method yesterday for something totally different. Like we're using these traversal IDs to do various things throughout GitLab. So why would we denormalize this on the SBOM occurrences table, which is for a very specific use case, as opposed to putting it, say, on like the groups table or the namespaces table or something that's kind of more high level as opposed too specific.
So it's already on the namespaces table. It's just that, let me show you one of these queries that we have. For vulnerabilities, we have a very good one that illustrates the problem. We have this big, freaking huge issue on database optimizations because we have so many database problems with our features.
Cool.
Here it is.
So the short answer, I think, Jesse, really is that when we join on the namespaces table, which is the normalized place for this data to be, it becomes incredibly expensive for these large project trees. So we have column tables with billions and billions of rows, and when we join to a group that's got 60,000 projects, then we multiply that number by 60,000 for the query. So it just becomes too inefficient.
Yeah. But I guess
Yeah.
my question is why save this data on SBOM occurrences and not on the namespace itself? Because it's all based on the.
It's on a namespace. It's on a namespace already. So we have namespaces for that traversal IDs. And this is what the existing query looks like. So this right here is basically doing the same thing that I already showed you. And so it gets all of the project IDs in the hierarchy. And that's what so this subquery returns every namespace ID under the group that we're looking for. And then we get all the projects that are underneath that group. And then we get all the SBOM occurrences for those projects. The problem is this subquery right here. For some customers, this IDN list right here has 10,000 items. And so we have to scan the SBOM occurrences table 10,000 times. So like this namespace lookup is efficient. It's just that this nested loop right here is not efficient. So what we're trying to do is essentially rewrite this query so that we get rid of this subquery completely. And instead we do traversal IDs is greater than or equal to n and traversal IDs is less than n plus 1.
Got it.
So like the namespaces that traversal IDs is already available in the context that we need it, but in the context of this specific query, like having that subquery is super expensive because it returns so much data when there's a large group tree. So
Yeah. Okay, that
by
makes
doing
and
denormalization,
yeah.
we
No,
can, yeah.
And do you think my previous point about transferring makes sense here, or like, is that a moot point? The idea that because you can transfer projects, their IDs might not be in a specific order.
Yeah, I think Brian said we've already got the
What was it that we
workers
said? Yeah,
to do
we're
that.
already, so projects can be transferred, but we have workers that will respond to those events and go through and migrate the columns under that project. So if you look in event store, we have I guess it hasn't been merged yet. My merge request is like, it like has auto merge set. But there is stuff like this process transfer events worker. So we subscribe to project transferred event, and when a project gets transferred or moved, we go through all of the vulnerability records in that project and migrate them. So we set new traversal IDs for those.
Oh, okay. Oh, so those aren't the namespace IDs. Those are the vulnerability IDs. I was wrong about. I didn't understand that.
Yeah. The namespace IDs already get synced automatically. There's some really complex code that does that, but when a namespace moves, its traversal IDs get updated, and then the namespace transferred event gets published, the group transferred event gets published, and then we respond to that and we go update the traversal IDs and we say vulnerability.traversal IDs equals uh, group transferred event dot group ID dot traversal IDs, right? We look at the group by the group ID and set it to group dot traversal IDs.
Okay. Okay, cool. Sorry for so many questions. We can do the background migration.
Okay, cool. Yeah, but basically we're already like the thinking of that data when a project or group moves is already handled. Do you remember the generator that we need to use for this?
Ooh.
Why is it taking so long?
Batched background migrations. Put the docs in the chat.
Okay, neat. Batch background migration. There we go. Okay. So we can call this backfill from occurrences. We will and archive. We're migrating 2 columns. Yeah, a lot of the plugins that I use for VS Code got deprecated, and so a lot of my code assist tools got stopped working. So like my Ruby plugin stopped working, and I tried downloading RubyMine, and I tried using that, and I used it for about 3 or 5 days, and then I got tired of it when it went back to VS Code. I was like I don't like the autocomplete, and I don't know any keyboard shortcuts, and it's doing all this stuff that I don't like. Like it was showing all these linter rules in inspections, and one of them was this method name is too long. I was like, why would you discourage wrong method name? Like you want to be descriptive. I disabled that immediately.
So it's too descriptive.
I have the same problem with Vim and VS Code. Like I'm trying to use VS Code to test out a lot of the code suggestions features. But I even have it in Vim mode. I can use Vim shortcuts, but I have so many Vim plugins that just everything works differently. And I keep just not even without even thinking about it, I just open up iTerm and start using Vim. And I'm like, wait a second, I was trying to use VS Code today. So change is hard.
Yeah, I turned off code suggestions after a while because it was very disruptive for me. And uh, I mentioned this like in the all caps channel just to try and vent, and the product manager saw it and was like, could you provide some examples of like some of the suggestions that weren't good? And I totally forgot, like I wasn't able to come up with good examples, but I'm thinking maybe I can turn it on now, and if and then I can send this video to that PM and kind of
Oh
demonstrate
yeah.
what like it. Uh,
Yeah, I love it. Okay.
okay,
All right. This is the autumn generated file.
so this is so there's a bunch of different files here. So this is the main entry point right here. This is used to queue the background migration, and it essentially creates a bunch of like database tables that reflect the records that to be migrated. Sorry, it creates a bunch of rows in the batch background migrations table, and
Hmm.
that's used to track the status of the migration. So this did a lot of the boilerplate for me. I think we can use these default constants. I don't think that really needs any tuning. And we're iterating over RT because we need to migrate the entire table. Um, there's if there's a risk that the namespace might have moved before we were able to implement the sync jobs. So we need to migrate the entire table just to be safe, just in case the column is incorrect. Uh,
I assume, Brian, that some of the records in SBOM occurrences are already going to have traversal IDs because of the work we've done
yeah.
already.
The
Do you
thing is,
know?
we added defaults for this column.
Right.
So when we were doing the oh damn it, this does not reflect like this is from when I first wrote the migrations. So I ran the migrations locally when I was writing them. And so the schema I have is actually not correct.
Right.
But if you look in structure.sql, so traversal IDs is not null, default empty array,
Right.
and archive is not null, default false.
Yeah.
So if
So
records got created before we started setting these columns in the application code, then these columns could be incorrect.
yeah. Do you have a gut feel for what percentage of the table is going to be empty or incorrect?
The vast majority of it,
Okay, cool.
because it will only be correct if a project has been transferred,
Mm.
Yep.
because
I only asked
we have those
because
workers that set the correct values.
yeah,
And but aside from that, like all of it's going to be incorrect. Also new records that have been created since yesterday.
yep. I asked because I reviewed one from our team again recently where we were only touching like less than 1% of the rows in the table, but it was an absolutely enormous table, and the background job was scheduled to take like a week to run, to just go through and do nothing. And we do
Mhm,
have a method to accommodate those ones, but we couldn't really get it working. So
mhm.
where you would just hit the rows that are going to be
Yeah,
affected. But
this
if we're going to hit all of them, then it's all good, or
this
most of them.
table should be much smaller compared to vulnerabilities. We can check
Database Lab is not
how
telling me
many
the exact
digits is
number,
that?
but
One,
it's
two, three, four, 5, 6, 7, 8. Is that 26 million?
26 million. Yeah, that's what the stats says.
That is bigger than I was expecting.
It's not one of our big ones, so
On the other hand, vulnerabilities is 89 million? Holy moly.
That was a fast load.
Wow. Wow. I mean, last time I checked, there was like half of that. Uh, how far back does this go?
Whoa.
What?
What?
What is this?
oh,
What happened on that day?
what's that day?
It actually barely changed.
Ah,
That
Oh, that's
is
6 minutes. I think 6 minutes. Is M minutes, not months?
yeah, it is.
that is interesting. I did not know it grew that much. Anyway, we have to migrate 26 million rows.
Okay, great.
Um, what are you complaining about, Rubicop? Mandatory key finalized after is missing. Uh, I do not know what this means. And there's no issue or documentation link, so
And like that. Oh, finalize after. So I've run into this before, which is that you have to do something to like finalize a background migration to avoid excuse the balloons. Um you just finalize background migration to avoid a required stop, right? Like you have to indicate that it is finalized in the next migration or something. So I guess you would say after whatever the 1611 date is or something like that.
yeah, I think we don't strictly need to have this finalized by a certain milestone because when we change the query, we're going to change the query to the new one. Even if there's records that aren't migrated yet, the query will still work. It's just that those records won't show up in the result there.
Okay.
Uh,
So if it's
all right.
null, there won't be any errors. We may have to set that attribute anyway, though. I'm not positive.
Yeah, looks like the generator probably needs to be updated to include it.
Yeah, finalize after is a date.
I guess I'll just set that to the next milestone and then we can figure it out during review. Yeah, I still don't fully understand what this is supposed to be for, but
Yeah. I got in trouble with this because I added background migration and then I added a validation that the data was there in the next milestone, but I didn't finalize the migration first. So customers who were upgrading had the validation when the data hadn't all migrated yet. So um, I think that's why they require this attribute now because of me and others like me.
so I need to add this to the BBM dictionary. I don't understand. I don't know what that is. I don't know what that means.
So I think that's the YAML file, see DB docs. The
Oh,
last, I think there's an, yep, there's attribute there.
okay.
Uh,
So we have
uh,
this now. Um, I I have not written a background migration since like 15 point something, and the process has changed.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't think I've
Yeah,
written.
okay. The cop is complaining that I haven't filled this out yet, I suppose.
Yeah.
Okay. That feels I'm gonna use a fancy little wrapper. I do not have this yet.
Finalize after.
I'll say 16.11, and then the release date is. Let me pull up.
$16.11 is April 18th.
There's a releases filing here.
Oh, there is? Wow.
Oh,
I'm showing you.
Wow.
I'm showing you the power user.
Cool. I'm always Googling our release date, like every day. So now I know this exists.
I only know about this because I was just looking at charge ops tooling the other day, like the bot that's supposed to move issues to the next milestone wasn't executing after the due date, and I was looking into why it wasn't doing that. And like it's actually scheduled to run the day before the release date, and I'm trying to change it so that it happens right after the due date because the release date is too late. Like our merge requests are supposed to be merged like a week before that.
Yeah. Yeah. Um,
Okay, that's good for now. I think this cop just hasn't refreshed yet, so I think that is done. So I don't think we need anything else in the spa, and we can move to the real code. Lots of boilerplate.
there
So
was.
we are not going to have a scope 2 for this one because we need to go over the whole table, right? What were you going to say, Matt?
I was going to say there's one more thing left in that YAML file, which is really annoying, which is you have to put the merge request that introduces this in, but you don't know what the merge request is until you've
Until
pushed
you
the
open
code,
it.
and then you have to update it again and push it up. Anyway,
Ugh,
sorry,
ugh.
doesn't matter.
Yeah, you have to. Well, I could.
I suppose you could make one, couldn't you, manually?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
wonder. I wonder if you can push an empty branch. I mean, I
Oh
haven't checked out my branch yet.
my gosh.
Yeah, you probably can.
Do you use do either of you use the GitLab CLI?
No, I've
GitLab.
been meaning to check it out. I've
You
got a
can
load
create
of my own
MRs.
scripts.
You can use MRs
Yeah,
for that.
I wonder if I can like create in. So I haven't made any commits yet, but I have this little. Sorry, I'm going all over the place. I have this little script that creates some merge requests, and I wonder if it will work with an empty branch. Let's see.
So you and Malcolm both have your own scripts when we have a company sponsored CLI that does this. Good data to have. Probably this more.
Hey, it works.
Sorry, Kelsey.
Cool. Yeah, I had this before the GitLab CLI existed, and I'm stuck in this workflow. I can't change it. I'm too
Yeah.
used to it.
Yeah. I think that I don't um see a lot of internal usage of our CLI. Actually just was noting this to somebody last week. I don't really know why it is, maybe just because it hasn't been around for that long. So people develop their own workflows before, but it's interesting because I only got started using it like 6 months ago. Uh, and I was just using the web before that.
Yeah, I think there's stuff that I have scripts for. There probably isn't at all in the CLI because it's all really specific.
Mm.
Um, but I do need to try it.
So this should actually be very easy. I think all I have to do is just do well, I have to define the tables in line, right? So
Well, I think like so the one of these that I reviewed, the author was trying to do it all with active record, and I think myself and the database reviewer were both saying we could just put the SQL in here. It would be way easier to read and understand, and we're not really gaining anything from active recordizing it. So I'd probably recommend
Mm.
that we do that. And the SQL is pretty much it'll need some modification, but it's in the issue, right?
yeah, we actually have these fancy migration helpers that like let you define the tables in line. So
Yep.
you can do like projects equals define bachelor model project, and this creates like an active record wrapper around the projects table.
Yep. I think just in the context of these things, it makes so much more sense to me to just have the SQL. Like you don't need all of that flexibility that Active Records is going to give you to add extra
Yeah.
scopes and all of this stuff to it. It's always going to be a fixed query. And
Yeah, and I think using raw SQL for this is actually a really good idea because then we can just so let me show you. I'll just start writing raw SQL here. But we can create a query like update SBOM occurrences that uh
Traversal IDs.
reversal IDs equals. So we have to do like a join.
Yeah.
So the thing is we have to get the project IDs.
yeah, Brian, if you open up the issue that you posted
Oh,
in the channel,
maybe I already wrote one for me,
it's
didn't
already
I?
got it in there.
Yay. Oh, I think you wrote it. That's you.
Yeah.
Nope, down.
This
That one?
No, this is it. I'm on the wrong issue.
yeah, that's not the one.
Yeah, I closed Slack because I'm very conscious about accidentally showing stuff on the recording.
It's
Okay.
number 437638.
Here it is.
That's the one.
Hmm.
Okay, neat. So we
Nice.
actually, I think I wrote this query.
Good. Past
Yeah, but
you.
we actually want to we want to migrate records that aren't null as well. So we actually want to get rid of this clause. Well, that makes my job easy. I already did the work for myself. Um, so I hope this thing gives me the start and end IDs, because if it just gives me an active record relation, then uh That's kind of a problem because it's very difficult to turn that into raw SQL with just like the where clause. Okay, so here you have start ID, end ID. Yeah,
So you'll
there is a way to, I think, like, so the way we used to do these was with a perform argument like this. And I wonder if it's possible to still do this. Let's look at the docs. Find the batch start ID and end ID.
No, that's talking about finding it in the logs.
mm,
Mm, I should have these IDs already.
and the
Think
reason you want them, why don't you want to use each sub batch? The method?
because it gives me an active record relation and I only need the start ID of the batch and the end ID of the batch. And then I'll just insert these into the SQL and execute it.
Okay.
I think sub argument.
I don't know if it does give you a relation, actually. Does it?
That anchor link is either broken or our docs doesn't like anchor links. I never know. Oh, use job
Yeah,
arguments. I pick that.
they've rewritten this batch background migration framework like 3 times.
Mm.
And I don't know how it works anymore.
Oh, that is a relation. Oh gosh, that's annoying.
I'm pretty sure that I can batch background migration job. I'm pretty sure these are accessible just as attributes and I can just get them with like start ID. So I think they're already available to me.
Yeah.
So I can do uh find batch model and then just do connection that exec update. And here I can write my SQL and I can just take this and
Look at that. It gave you a great suggestion. Tab to complete.
it was so it's a good suggestion, but my freaking autocomplete added the end and
Yeah. It's hard to have AI and autocomplete competing for who can finish your thought faster and better.
well that was easy. I was expecting to spend way more time on this.
Well, do we know it works?
We used the hour.
We did use the hour. 20 minutes was me trying to understand like how SQL works. Uh,
Are we out of time? It's almost the top of
we
the hour.
have 3 minutes. What do you think we can get done in 3 minutes? Do you want to
Can we get this
run
done
it?
in 3 minutes?
Write all the tests? Just write a comment, and I'll see if Code Suggestions can write the tests for you. Like, please write tests for the code.
Let's go here.
You do a enter to do a space. Like click, yeah, and then oh no, that was bad. Um,
I
it doesn't
wonder
know it doesn't know that you're trying to do code generation unless you do a space after the end of the line. So you could do a comment and just say like, I don't know. It would. You can also
Mm.
do just to humor me. Go back to the actual code. For the background migration.
I'll open it side by side for you 1 second.
That one. Yeah, open that. And then open the, I think that we have a slash command. GitLab duo slash command. I think you can use a slash command to write tests in the IDE.
Uh,
Remember me. In VS Code.
did you write that in Slack? Or
Sorry. Here, I'll say this. I'll put it in the chat. I'll just be
okay.
curious. Oh, that one. Yeah.
Where do I write this? Like I
Go
just do
in
it.
the go in the left, the little tanuki on the far left of your editor, and you go into chat. Yep. There you
Oh,
go.
what the? I have never seen this before. I
It's
did not
new.
know we
It's
had that.
new.
Yeah.
Oh, you have to select it. Sorry, you have to highlight it with your mouse. Oh, like the whole file.
Okay. I'll just select the entire.
Thank you for humoring me. I'm using you because I have a hard time using VS Code. I'm using your VS Code. It should look a lot prettier when it's done, but we'll see. It kind of types it all out and then it should be in a nicer markdown format.
Yeah, I'm surprised it's not. Oh, I don't know. I don't know why it streams the characters like that. Like,
It's because it improves perceived performance. Like when people see some output right away, they feel like, oh, and because the LLM truly is returning that to us in each chunk. So we just read it and send it on to you. But yeah, it doesn't actually do anything so anyways, thank you for at least trying that. We are over time now that I've made you be um, an AI tester, but I appreciate it.
okay, there's some problems with these tests.
Good.
Number
Record
one, I don't
CPM.
care about testing update SQL. It's a private method.
Yeah.
And two, it's stubbing everything, so it's not actually testing a damn thing.
Well, your job is safe. Your job is safe for now. Thanks for testing. Cool. Thank you, Brian, for bringing something to work on. That was fun. I learned a lot, especially about batch background migrations. So it's great.
Yeah, thanks everybody for joining. I'll see you later.
Okay.
Thanks,
Yeah.
folks. See ya.
Bye.